Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this. And we are back, baby. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And what an episode we guys have for you today. A big snow day episode. And I'll tell you why it's a snow day episode is because Brian is calling in from his humble abode right now. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, brother? So nice that we have this option given the elements. Really works out well. Can't miss yet another edition of the Sports Port. So much good shit to talk about.
Oh, I know, dude. And it's great that we have so much to talk about, barring the football season, obviously. And it is sick that we can do this like you're in your basement, dude. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
The road, the snow, don't want to go out of the house.
Michael telling me to get a driver.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, dude, it's crazy, but it's kind of annoying. But I'm guessing. This will probably be the last snow of the year. Because you're at a point now. I know you like the snow cold, but like at this point, you're ready for baseball, the spring, right?
Obviously ready for baseball, and it's pretty interesting because I definitely didn't expect the snow. I feel like it was like 55 degrees a couple days ago, and then all of a sudden, this is like the most snow we've gotten all season, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Some forecasts were calling up for 10 inches. I saw a bunch of tweets. Debbie Duhane.
Dude.
So it's kind of nuts. But I actually think I saw like Saturday there's supposed to be a sprinkle of something. I don't think it'll be anything crazy, but we do get this a lot. If you think back, where it's like we don't get anything, and then right at the end we'll get like a snowstorm or two.
Yeah, pretty crazy. How are the how the road clearings by you? Because you're nice.
When I haven't, our road's still not clear. And then just looking outside, I didn't see too many people out in the road. And it's still coming down pretty good. Is the window open, Tony?
The window is not open today, but I don't have the heat on, so it's nice and chilly in here. Dude.
You would be proud. I think since Friday I've had my window air conditioning unit in.
Oh my God, dude! I honestly was thinking about that the other day because I was like, it's hot. I was like, oh my God, dude.
Like it's like I need the noise, I need the ventilation, and it's crazy. It doesn't like feel that cold, I guess, because like third floor, heat's on, that type of deal.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, dude.
But yeah, I'm so ready for some baseball. And I was mentioning to you before the show, Mets reporting today. So I know you're jacked up about that. I saw Ohtani going deep in batting practice. He's all riled up.
Dude, he hit like 8-10 home runs or something, like with not even putting an effort into it. Crazy, honestly.
It is amazing, like, because obviously it happens from time to time, but of course the numbers, the production's always through the roof. But like, how does he even go into a slump? Like with his swing, his power.
I know. And when you think about it too, this upcoming season 2, that's all he's going to be probably like focusing on for the most part is just being the best possible DH. Like that's all he has to worry about, dude.
Yeah. And do you think, like, just thinking about that, do you think him pitching like holds back his hitting at all? Like, or is it just like he's such a good hitter, it's not really going to make a difference?
I guess we'll see this upcoming season, but I wouldn't anticipate it. Again, like it doesn't really seem like it has in the past. And look at it. The guy can't pitch, but he's still going out there and he's still going to get like a full season of at bats in, which is pretty crazy. So,
yeah. And I always just got confused. Like I get, like, obviously it's not the same motion as like throwing and stuff, but if your arm's that messed up where you can't pitch all season, how is it okay that you can hit?
Dude, honestly, that is beyond me, dude. I don't know how that works, what the science of that is like, but I guess just because you're not putting that much strain on your elbow,
Yeah.
But hey, if you can do it, like, let's go, right? Like,
yeah, no, and it just seems like timelines are all over the place. Sometimes pitchers they miss a year and a half or whatever the case may be. And it's like Dominguez's timeline seems like a little murky because it's like he's taking batting practice, but yet he's not going to be ready till the summer. Like that part, I don't quite understand either.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. How has he been doing in batting practice? Like, does he say
I guess good. I don't think there's been too much news about that. But I guess too that when they bring him back, that I think it's like they just want him to be right into center field, so that could be why it's going to take a little longer.
Yeah, I guess that makes any chance you think he comes back earlier?
You know what it is? I think especially though, if the Yankees are killing it, first place, scoring a lot on offense, they're going to really be conservative, and then you might not see him till July 1.
Interesting. Yeah. By the way, Kev Du says the rotation of the arm when you swing is different as opposed to when you pitch, dude.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I would just think there would be, from swinging, especially the way that Shohei Ohtani swings a bat, that there would be some type of repercussion for swinging like that.
I know, and you would think like, you had surgery, you probably want to like not do anything at all, like
right,
crazy. So I mean, but whatever.
Yeah, and obviously he's just a specimen. We do have a bunch of comments if we want to start with those.
Of course, Brian, as we typically do, baby. Kev Du is in the house. First the comment early and often. He wants the smoke still. Says he can't wait till Sunday. Neither can I. And then he says, best person on the planet, best player on the planet, excuse me. And then JB in the house as well says, what's up, fan? Man, it's shitty out there. Hashtag let's fucking go Rangers. Big shout out last night. Hashtag TCA, hashtag sportsport, hashtag DTV. That's right, JB.
No.
Then Matthew Ryan also in the house saying that he is back. Did anyone see Woody Johnson's comments last week? Do you know about Woody Johnson's comments last week, Brian?
Basically playoff mandate for next year. But, I mean, come on. That's like a no shit thing. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, no, Rodgers will be healthy next year. But don't worry about making the playoffs. If you don't make it, no big deal. Like, what? Like, this is what it's all for. So
like, all he says that he guarantees playoffs. That's what he said?
No. Like, basically, like, the whole coaching staff's going to be fired if they don't make the playoffs.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, obviously, dude.
Yeah, he's just an idiot too. I feel like he really holds us back. Like, obviously, there's a lot of factors, but he's probably at the top of the list.
Yeah. Oh my God, hands down. And then we have Kev Du, of course, talking some shit. Dan Bryan, I made it into work today. What's your excuse? And then Michael Buckton maybe finding some common ground here with Kev Du. Says, Barnes, why aren't we in the studio today?
Oh, come on, fellas, come on.
Wow,
ask Michael, honestly, and not Michael Buckton.
Oh my God.
That shit is funny. But where I wanted to actually start, if we could, Tony, go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yep, what a play! Stop it, Tony. Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right, Tony. So we did have a signing overnight. The San Francisco Giants getting in the mix, signing Jorge Soler, 3 years, $42 million. Hit 36 home runs last year. So looking to grow that offense and really grow the talent on the team. They've been trying to add free agents for the last couple of years. The whole Correa situation, Judge, just to name a couple, and they've been in on other players. But a lot of people think, due to the surrounding area, what's going on in San Francisco, they've had a tough time luring free agents in. And obviously Soler, it's not like signing Shohei Ohtani, but at the same time, for an offense that's really struggled for quite some time, I think this is a big add in the middle of the lineup, and pairing them with Jung-Hoo Lee, who they signed in December, 6 years, $113 million, the outfielder, from Korea.
Yeah, dude, this is, I think, a huge get for them. You mentioned how many home runs they got. That Soler got, last season, 36, batted 250, 75 RBIs. He's someone who obviously can hit really well. And if you need to throw him in the outfield, I guess you could. He is, 31 years old. So, the guy can still play the field. But, this is the type of guy who's like, like you said, I mean, the Giants needed an offense. He's a guy who could probably hit you 30 home runs next season. I know some of his years, I guess, have been kind of up and down. If you want to look at it, last season, only played 72 games, but had, 13 home runs. Year before that, obviously playing time was huge, 55 only in 2021 when he was with the Braves. And then I think missed a ton of games too when he played for Kansas City. So, I mean, as long as he's healthy, I mean, he's going to be a huge asset to your team. Like I said, you saw what he did last season when he was playing like almost a full season. So, I mean, that's a huge get. Soler, obviously someone who was, probably one of the more touted DH players on the market. I know the Mets were interested in, or talks of the Mets getting him. I think even the Red Sox too, but for the Giants to ink him, great job, dude.
Yeah, I think you got to do stuff like that and kind of mix it up a little bit. Obviously they have their goals set high on these top free agents, but if they're not coming to town, get the best talent that you can, and that's what they're doing. And it's tough though because while the team's improving, you got Logan Webb on the mound. You feel like though they're pretty doomed, just being in that division, with the Dodgers, Padres, despite trading Soto, still a lot of talent there. Arizona was in the World Series last year. Seems like they're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, dude, it definitely does a little bit. You mentioned, Webb on the mound. DeSclafani went somewhere else, right? Where did DeSclafani go?
Oh, no, that was part of the deal. And I think he was traded to Seattle in the Robbie Ray deal, but then Seattle then traded him, right?
I think
that what it was?
Yeah, I think you are. I know it was a 3-team thing.
I forgot that the Giants though did end up with Robbie Ray.
Yeah, which is great. I guess if you're into that, let's see. DeSclafani went with
maybe the Twins.
The Twins, yeah, he went to the Twins.
But then what's the deal? Robbie Ray, he missed all of last year, but is he going to miss part of the start of the season this year?
Last I checked, yes. Let's see. Look up some news here. I
think I saw something like that just came out that he said he's like 54%.
Really? That's not something like.
Yeah, so I would think he's like almost like a Dominguez situation.
Yeah,
like summer.
Yeah, he went under surgery. Process will be back on track with his new team. Express happiness, recovery progress. Pumped to be about part of the Giants organization. He has confidence in them and him. Expected to be back on the field after the All-Star break in July.
Okay,
that's kind of tough.
Now, what do you think about also, I kind of forgot, we're talking about their offense. Conforto, last year hit 239, had 15 home runs. Now he's got a little more protection in the lineup. He only had 406 at bats last year, coming off that big shoulder injury where he missed all of the 2022 season. You think he's in for a bounce back or just kind of up in the air?
I would think so. I mean, at the end of the day, I talked about that even when in the start of the offseason here. If I was the Mets, I would have taken a flyer on him, something, dude. Because he's a great outfielder. Like you said, didn't get every at bat he could have gotten, but still hit 15 dingers. Looked like his average was 239. So you'd expect with a larger sample size, I mean, he would be increasing his average, maybe some more home runs, like definitely more of an impact guy, I would say, given more at bats. But that's I don't know. I wouldn't think he's going to have like a 32 home run season with 90, 85 RBIs or anything like that. I don't think. I think he'll still be a great bottom of the lineup hitter, mid lineup hitter, right?
Yeah. I think too. I think the ballpark kills him though for his power.
Yeah, true.
And then, more of what I was saying, I'm just thinking in terms of like the team and success. And obviously, you bring in free agents, you don't automatically think of, a rebuild next. But just one thought here, Logan Webb, 27 years old, signed on a manageable deal, 5 years, $90 million, free agent in 2029. I guess they did was last year must have been the extension, but
yeah,
at 27, pitching always a premium. I mean, especially let's say the beginning of this year kind of goes how we expect in that division, and they're buried in last place around the trade deadline, I mean, you think that's something they consider, and just to get a haul?
Moving him? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, if the Giants want to be competitive, they're going to need a lot of help, elsewhere. That includes scoring predominantly, I guess. It is going to be kind of tough because, I mean, they're going to be like strapped for pitching.
No, I know. I mean, and obviously, they brought in Soler, Lee, Ray to compete. But like I said, I mean, do you see any scenario where they can be competitive next year?
I really don't think so. I mean, Robbie Wright not coming back until the All-Star break. I think that really hurts them a lot. And again, Webb, I'm sure is going to do well. Probably have like a mid-3 ERA over the course of the season. He was eating up innings too. I feel like I never really saw him going like 4 innings and out or 5 innings struggling really. I think he pitched over 200 innings last season, but 27. Yeah, I mean, I guess if things are really bad to the sense where they're not even close to being competitive and they're like, all right, like this, we just got to chalk it up to an L this season and then like really have to like look at ourselves in the mirror here. Yeah, I can see them trying to get rid of Webb. But again, I think it'll have to be like we have to completely rebuild type of moment.
Well, and I'm just thinking about this too. We also forgot they signed Jordan Hicks to be a starter. So I mean, clearly they're trying to compete this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you think about Hicks, you think about Webb, Ray's not going to be back for a while. So I think, there'll be some holes to start the year in the rotation. And then just offensively, if they can hit enough, and I think one thing that's really killed them, Joey Bart. I mean, he was supposed to be the next guy in line after Buster Posey. He's been a complete bust.
Yeah. No, literally a complete bust. I mean, I don't even think they have, I have to look at some stats on him, but I mean, did he even really like play at all?
I feel like he was so bad, like they couldn't have him up. Yeah,
Right.
he barely played. He's already 27. Not that that's old, but he was supposed to expected to be a force. Really, their best hitter was Wilmer Flores last year, who I think led the team with 23 home runs. The former Met. And actually, that made me think, and I'll be interested if you or anybody else out there can guess the last San Francisco Giant to hit 30 home runs. What year and who was it?
I know you asked that before the show too. I mean, obviously, like 30 home runs. I mean, there's no way it's like, can you give me like, is it 20 years? Is it like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Like we're talking early 2000s then.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because then, I mean, my guess would then probably be Barry Bonds. I guess that would be the last guy. But I mean,
yeah, Barry Bonds, 2004.
So literally 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Talk about an indictment on the offense. And I know it's not all about hitting home runs, but to go 20 years without a 30 home run hitter, I mean that's pretty bad.
That is really bad, dude. I can't believe that. Buster never. Wow, I guess Buster never did.
No. I think his career high in home runs is like 24.
It is 24 in 2012.
Yeah, it's a shame too. I feel like he retired a couple years too early. He
was
nastiest last year.
Yeah, he really was, dude. That's a shame.
I think he just wanted to be home with his kids, I guess. So I guess you can't really blame him in that respect.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy, dude. Yeah, last year he had over 400 plate appearances, 454, batted .304, 23 doubles. 23 doubles. Wow, dude. 18 home runs, 56 RBIs. Damn.
Yeah.
All-star season.
Kind of crazy. And also, speaking of crazy, I feel like the amount of comments we just picked up.
Yeah, we got a lot coming in. Let's see. We got Barnes here. There we go. Buckta. Barnes, so strange seeing him not in the studio during the show. And Matt Ryan did try to call him before, but we were in the baseball video, so I didn't answer. So obviously he says he wants to call to clarify the Woody comments, which he's more than welcome to do now. And then Buckta coming in here now. I'll admit Kev Tatum is good in the regular season, but not in the late round of the playoffs. Can we agree on that? And then Matt Ryan Mets will suck this year. Now I'm not gonna answer your phone call. Good job, Matthew Ryan. Oh wow, here he is, dude. All right, hold on. Stand by, Matthew. Let me pull him through. Just give him a couple minutes. Why not? Michael, are you live with us on the Sports Port right now? Or Matthew, excuse me.
Hello.
Hello, Matt.
So I wanted to clarify what he said. He pretty much, besides the mandate stuff, he said about how he didn't have a backup QB, and to me, that pretty much says that Zach Wilson didn't really try. That's what I got from it, that he wasn't happy with his effort or his play ethic, that they didn't have a backup QB last year. So I really just wanted to clarify that. And what do you think about the Mets non-signing of any players? I really think they're a 75-win team at most.
Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate the call, by the way, Matthew. And I mean, it's tough. 75 wins seems like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of tough. Again, I feel like people are a little bit discrediting on how the team already is set up. And I understand, like, I've been super critical, obviously, of the Mets not signing enough people in the offseason, because they haven't. I mean, they've done a pretty bad job with getting good signings of players that, I would say would get most of the fan base excited, have a lot of juice to their name, or locks to be like, oh, this guy's going to be hitting 30 home runs for us. This guy's going to have like a sub-3 ERA for us this season. They haven't really made those signings. A lot of the signings they did were, like Brian will say, the bargain bin signings, or
like Luis Severino.
Exactly. Taking flyers on some players who have had
Sean
Manaea, dude. Still, going with Marte in the outfield, relying on him, an old guy trying to be healthy.
Being cheap with Alonso.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't say it's being cheap with Alonso, but they're treading lightly with Alonso, which again, like, if that's what they're going to do like that, I'm not going to blame them for trying to do that. Cause Alonso was not great, last season. But I think at the end of the day, this team is going to be talented. Alonso, you'd expect to have a bounce back year. Lindor would continue to kind of, play better as he's been doing every year with the Mets. And you still have Nimmo, who's a tremendous talent. If Marte does stay healthy, that guy was raking in home runs, before he started with injury. He was one of our biggest power hitters. And then you got, you still have young players. We still have Alvarez, who you're expecting to have a great season. Brett Beatty, you're trying to have him have a turnaround year at third base, finally figured out at the plate. You have a lot of highly touted prospects that is their second, third year getting some looks here. And that's, again, like any good prospect, third years, you look out to be somewhat of an outstanding season because they've been working their way into the major leagues here. So, I don't think, I think the Mets will be able to score. Look at so many of their losses last season. They're scoring 7 runs, but they're giving up 8 or 9. And that's why they're losing those games. You want to look at your bullpen. You want to look at your pitching staff a lot more. And again, like Senga's second year in the league now, you expect him to be a little more comfortable. So, and again, like, you never know about Severino. Even Brian could admit to that. You never know, dude.
The stuff is there, just the performance was atrocious.
Yeah, the performance,
he has the
ability,
has the talent.
So there is a chance this team is good, that they can feel the team that can win, dare I say 85, 90 games here, and keep it competitive down the stretch. And you never know. If they're competitive in the first half, maybe they sign or make a trade at the trade deadline or whatever, and then they're able to push the playoffs to have a wild card spot or something.
But like, if they know now that they're not going to re-sign Alonso, like, shouldn't they trade him before the season starts? Isn't this when he's going to have the most value?
Yeah, but see, I think that they don't know if they're going to move on.
But let's be realistic here, though. You really think there's a decent chance with Boris, especially with David Stearns in his wallet, that they're actually going to re-sign him?
Yeah, I do think so. Because, there's going to be, again, like, I think you cannot underestimate the fact that Alonso wants to play for the Mets. That's obviously what he wants. Of course, he does still want to get paid the money he thinks he's earned. But I think that if David Stearns lets Alonso go and he goes on to, let's say, Chicago is interested in him, I know that, or really any other team, and does well, I mean, he's going to look like a total and complete jackass. Like he doesn't want that. I know you said he doesn't want to sign some big blockbuster deal with Alonso, but he also doesn't want to lose him and have him play for a different team and do well. And then, I mean, you let Alonso walk. That's your homegrown guy, So I think Stearns will try and make it work. And like I said, I think they will. Again, obviously, this is barring too that Alonso does do well this season, and it makes sense for them to re-sign it. I mean, if Alonso doesn't do too well this season, that type of trending downward, which again, last season, I mean, his batting average was, I think, 210 or something, if he continues to struggle at the plate, then maybe that's like, oh, all right. That's like a reason to be like, hey, we're not going to need him. We can't keep him,
Yeah.
I understand.
With the Yankees.
No, go ahead.
And with the Yankees, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm very disappointed in their offseason. They got Juan Soto, Marcus Stroman, and what else did they get?
Well, I think Verdugo, compared to what we were working with last year, is a very important guy to have. We were playing Willie Calhoun and Jake Bauers. So I think Verdugo is going to be big. I think Trent Grisham as a defensive replacement is going to be great. And maybe the bat comes around. We've seen him heat up before. And I think the biggest thing, I mean, you can't underestimate what Soto does to the lineup. So you think about Soto being back, Rizzo being healthy, and then Volpe improving. I mean, our offense is going to go from the worst in the league to easily top 5.
Yeah, but the problem is now we have the Rangers we have to watch out for, the Astros to watch out for in our in our league. We have all these good teams that we have compared to the Yankees. Okay, Yankees might get a wild card spot, but we are still. I think we're still leagues behind the Astros in pitching and the Rangers in pitching, and then let's not talk about the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is of course we're not head and shoulders above everybody else, but I think that we have enough to compete, and it's about everybody playing to the best of their ability, and especially from our rotation too. Obviously, hitting was a problem last year, but I think the biggest thing too is what Rodon and Nestor give you. That's gonna really sway the season.
And also, as a Met fan, and both Yankees and Met fan, their owners Steve Cohen. I'm not a Met fan, but if I was, when Steve Cohen said yes, we're going to spend money to make a team good. In 1 year, he spends $300 million, and this year I don't know how much he spent, but way under $300 million, and is passing up on Jordan Montgomery. Both teams have Jordan Montgomery as a pitcher. What are they doing? What are both how?
But one thing, and I've been hard on Cohen, Tony knows, but the one thing that we have to consider here, and we've talked about this before, some guys just don't want to play for the Mets. So it's not all just on Cohen for that.
I know, because the Mets are a losing organization. I'm not bringing football into it, but that's the same situation that the Jets could have this offseason as the Mets did last offseason. Losing organization.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I don't know what you think, Tony, but I think with Montgomery, I think it's he just doesn't want to go there. I don't think it's they offered him money and they're not offering him enough. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's something to say too, why I mean Monty hasn't been signed at all. So I would
shooting for the moon, I think, is obviously the biggest reason.
I think that's the biggest reason too, is that his asking price is going to be what people don't want to just pay what he wants. So it would be interesting to see where he lands, because I do. I mean, I think he's going to be a pretty solid pitcher. I mean, again, barring he stays healthy too.
Concerning that he doesn't want to play with the two New York teams.
Well, he's also, he's been in New York before too.
And I think it's understandable he doesn't want to play for the Yankees. They kind of push him out the door, made disparaging remarks. You understand that part.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when he left, I mean, he he didn't want to leave the Yankees in the first place.
No.
Right? Like he said that outright. He's like, I would have stayed, but this is what they wanted, So obviously,
Right.
sour grapes with New York, with the Yankees, and because the Yankees are such assholes, they probably ruined it for the Mets. Honestly, so he's probably just want to play in New York at all.
That. I'm just as rough of a year it has been for the New York sports teams, New York, New Jersey sports teams. You would think that the two best opportunity sports teams would spend a lot of money to make sure their team goes to like the playoffs at least.
No, Matthew, I totally agree with what you're saying, especially like coming from Cohen too, a man who said that he wants to spend money, but that's what he's been doing. He had the biggest payroll. Like he went over the luxury tax threshold. Like he spent a lot of money on bringing in players, and it didn't work. I mean,
but what's your opinion on the majority of the guys that they wanted and didn't get? Do you think that's more so because they didn't want to come, or because they didn't want to open up the checkbook?
Like this offseason, you're saying?
Or just even since he's been there, you know what I mean? There's been positional guys that, they've been interested in.
I think it's a little bit of both. Cohen is not spending his money like an idiot, but he is spending his money. He's bringing in some guys. And again, you look at like how it worked out with Verlander and Scherzer, and then how it's working out with how, certain people like talking about the team, even when they brought in Baez, even when they brought in Stroman. Those things did not end well. So it's like, if you're a player looking at that, regardless of like Cohen's ready to spend money, maybe he'll put a good team together, but it seems like that there's something off, in terms of the culture, the locker room, the players. And again, he did it. Like he spent the money, and it didn't work out. So why would a player be like, he's spending it again this season, but it doesn't look like it's working out over there? They got rid of Buck, who again, I would imagine having Buck Showalter would be a good reason to come to the Mets. And I know you can take it with a grain of salt, but I feel like every player talks, nothing but good things about Buck at that time. And they hire Mendoza. I think that's a bad hire. That's not going to get any juice around the clubhouse to be like, that's a guy I want to play for type of deal, to bring in people. So to bring in players. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a multitude of reasons why, players haven't come to the Mets.
They should have never got rid of Buck.
That was a bad move.
It's just like such an odd, I don't know. It was such a crazy season. Obviously the opposite of what, the Mets organization, and I think a lot of people expected from them. And on top of that, it just seemed like it wasn't necessarily a Buck issue. It was more about, a GM issue and, like what team you put around Buck to play. And on top of that, you just had so much bullshit going on, whether it was injuries, just players not playing up to their standards that they should have been playing as. I don't really understand what type of conversation was had.
And Aaron Boone should have been fired more than Buck. Aaron Boone should have been fired this year more than Buck, because Aaron Boone didn't do a good job last year. And I hate to say it, he did good with teams that Joe Girardi really put together, but his teams he's been the Achilles heel. He's made dumb decisions with the bullpen, made dumb decisions with the lineups.
But don't you think it's not his fault? It's Cashman's fault, because he's just doing as directed.
I think it's both of them combined. Yeah, Cashman has I wanted Cashman fired years ago, but Boone hasn't helped either. Boone has got the team to the playoffs constantly, but always fell short. Why do they fell short?
But don't listen, I'll be the first one to admit, we don't need him. I wanted him gone years ago too, but I think, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think the biggest reason why, when they've made the playoffs the past 5 years or since he's been the manager, the reason they haven't won is because they haven't hit more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just
you gotta hit. You gotta score. You can't score. You can't win.
They put with the Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner, they are fine with I would say a 90 to 95 win team, which is acceptable. And their old business model was, okay, get at least to a World Series and win it 1 or 2 years. They can't. I know it's hard to win it every year, but get to. Now they're just happy with a playoff appearance, like wild card, divisional, or league championship, they're happy with that. They don't. It just seems like the culture has changed, and with the Yankees and with the Mets need to like start improving because again, players will be like, oh, they made one playoff appearance in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I mean,
many?
both these teams, man, that come into the season obviously have to improve. I don't know. I think your outlook right now is a little bit dimmer than others. Because I mean, I don't know. I do think the Yankees have made some good moves. I think the Mets will field a reasonably good team. Barring those players are actually held accountable for what they should be performing like. And again, I mean,
the hitting,
Mendoza
the hitting is okay with the
no, yeah, I mean,
Mets,
yeah,
but the
sure.
pitching,
I mean, obviously, yeah, like I said, pitching's going to be an issue, bullpen's going to be an issue. But I think time will tell. We still have, we have spring training to go through. You'd imagine, maybe there's some more transactions, some more of a
what's the starting five right now? You got Senga, Severino, Minaya, Quintana, and then who's the fifth starter?
I guess maybe Peterson right now. I mean, look to see if they have.
And they still have McGill.
I don't think they do, dude.
Oh, they don't.
No. I don't want.
And then the Yankees starting five. I'm not happy. Cole.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Clark Schmidt, but I think Rodon will definitely bounce back. Nestor's a question mark. We know what Cole is. And I think Stroman as a fourth starter can be pretty good, ERA in the high threes, but Clark is a wild card for sure.
Stroman is a question mark too. I really don't. Some years he's good, some years he's bad. Like that's
yeah. I mean, but if he has similar numbers year end to what he did last year as a fourth starter with an ERA under 4, we'll take it.
By the way, it looks like Hauser is going to be put into the rotation.
And that was the guy who threw up?
Yeah, that was the guy from the Brewers. I kind of thought they would use him as a bullpen piece, but I guess they're committing him to the rotation for now anyway.
McGill and Peterson still on the roster?
Peterson is. I know Lucchesi is. Buteau is. I thought I saw McGill go somewhere else. I may be thinking of his brother, to be honest.
Yeah, I know his brother just signed somewhere. I saw that.
Yeah. He's still with the Mets, McGill.
Okay.
And then the one last point, and then I gotta head out. Get stuff done. But the bullpens, both Yankees and Mets bullpens are nothing to be excited about.
No, yeah, I totally agree. The Mets bullpen.
I mean, I think the Yankees bullpen is better than the Mets bullpen.
Well, obviously, but I mean, they're both trash.
Yeah, but
I mean, trash. They had the best ERA in the majors last year.
No, yeah, I mean, the Mets they really don't have anyone good.
Other than Edwin Diaz, obviously.
Yeah,
but I mean, again, like how much confidence do you have in Diaz coming into the season? Because I don't have a ton of confidence. I'm super worried about it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him though struggling early and then kind of locking in as the season.
I fucking hope so, dude.
But with the Yankees, who's our closer?
No, Holmes will be the closer. If he falters, Loaizaga is the next guy up.
And then, because I'm sorry, the Yankees have they're better than the Mets. I'll agree with that. But they have the same issues as the Mets, but less.
Well, I mean, their starters are a lot better than the Mets. I mean.
Yeah, the starters are a lot better, but compared to the rest of some of the teams in the American League, they are. That's what I'm saying. They're way behind in talent. And this, look at the Astros they have.
Yeah, I mean the Astros are always going to be competitive in terms of pitching. Obviously, the Rangers will be pretty decent. The Orioles even will be good. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like
no one's head and shoulders above anyone else.
Yeah, I think
Texas won last year. We get it, but they're going to lose Jordan Montgomery in all likelihood. So I think it's going to be highly competitive, but nobody is like far ahead. And even on the National League side, we think the Dodgers are far ahead of everybody, but when the season ends, it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, and they've been trash in the postseason, so.
And
last thing for Matthew Ryan, you come in. You come into the Ranger watch party on Sunday.
I don't know, Ranger Devil game or
the Islanders
Rangers having a watch party at the studio.
I was watching the Saturday game.
You're going to the Saturday game with the Devils?
No, I'm watching to the Saturday game.
Oh, nice.
Walking to it.
Devils are gonna win. Rangers are gonna lose like normal.
Yeah.
Remember the games that last year.
Sure. Well, Matthew, we really appreciate your call. By the way, calling in. It was great to hear from you, bud.
Yeah, great to hear from you, man.
Yeah, have a great day,
Thank you.
dude.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
See ya. And that is Matthew Ryan.
Been a while for Matthew Ryan, dude.
But no, I was gonna ask, with the guys left over, Snell, Montgomery, Chapman, Bellinger. Any predictions on where they go?
Oh wow, and where they go? It's a good question. I mean, it's so tough when you think about teams that are trying to spend the money too right now. I mean, I'm surprised that you guys haven't been gone, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys honestly lands with the Stros.
With the Astros?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like, yeah, like they're always going to be competitive and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like their rotation is a little bit up in the air. I mean,
because you have Framber Valdez,
right?
You have Verlander. I'm trying to think. McCullers, is he still in the?
Yeah, McCullers, but he missed most of the season last year. I got to see what his injury.
He was coming back from Tommy John.
Yeah, and then I think Javier got injured too.
Oh, Javier, right? I forgot about him.
Let me see what we got going on here.
JP France, but I think he pitches out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
McCullers. They have your Quiddy still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they definitely could use
another guy in the rotation.
I mean, you would hope that Montgomery or Snell doesn't go there.
I was going to say, though, Monty with the, tight about the Yankees. Let's go.
I heard he's interested in signing in Boston, which I could definitely see.
Oh, yeah, I could see that too. But, I mean, if given the option, don't you think he would prefer to go to the Astros?
Yeah, but I don't know if Houston, especially after dishing out the contract to Josh Hader, is going to do that.
Yeah, true. Good point. It'd be interesting. Monty in Boston.
I kind of think Bellinger is going to go back to the Cubs.
Oh yeah. I would agree with that.
And then I could honestly, you know what? Like, I think the Giants are sick of it. Maybe they throw enough at Snell, they convince him to go there.
That would be great.
Because then if you have Snell, you have Webb, and then Ray coming back, that would be a pretty good rotation.
Yeah, and Snell already in Cali.
Yeah. And then the tough one is Chapman, though. I don't know how to really – I don't think he's going back to Toronto. I don't know if he's going to have to do either like a 3-year deal with opt-outs after the first or a 1-year prove-it deal maybe even.
I can see him signing a 1 year somewhere.
And also, too, JD Martinez is still out there. Does he maybe come into the play for the Mets?
Oh, no kidding. I mean, he absolutely should. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah. Because really, I mean, right now, who's the DH?
For the Mets?
Yeah.
Probably Vientos right now.
Yeah, but you don't feel that great about that, huh? I mean, you probably like him getting the opportunity, but you're probably nervous on the production.
Yeah, definitely nervous on the production. And I think you bring in JD. You bring in Martinez. I mean, I feel like that's like a good veteran player to help out some of the young guys too.
That's what I was going to say. Even more so than their performance. He's a hitter.
I know. So I don't know. I kind of like that. And I guess it wouldn't be terrible if you are trotting Vientos out there every day for DH. But still, I mean, don't you like from the Mets like signing Martinez that give us something here?
Yeah.
Like why not?
That's true. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where those guys go. Before we move on, I think we had a lot of comments we missed, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, there's 1.5 million comments here. Let's see what we got going on here. We got Matt Ryan in there. Who wanted to call. Mets suck, whatever. Matthew Gabriel in the house. Barnes. Yeah, home.
Yeah, home. What are you doing there?
And then Buck just says Logan Webb is so good, but nothing compared to Kershaw Oh,
I
interesting.
mean, Kershaw is obviously a legend.
Yeah, throwing some numbers out there. His career ERA is 2.48. Webb's is only 3.4.
Yeah, I mean, Kershaw is ridiculous. But
Yeah,
the only thing I would say, do you think like, obviously he's going to make the Hall of Fame regardless, but do you think the fact that it's like the past 8-9 years, he's only pitching 130, 140, 150 innings at most, is that like take him back a notch at all for you or not really?
Yeah, it definitely does. But still, like you said, I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's had such a lengthy career too, and has had like Buck is saying, just consistently good. I mean, you can't knock those numbers.
No. I mean, it seems like when he does pitch, he's almost just as effective as when he was 25 years old.
Literally.
I think the disappointing part is talent wise, I feel like he could go toe to toe with Sandy Koufax, but just because of what he's done in the postseason, he's nowhere near him. Unfortunately,
yeah, I know. And then obviously lack of titles too. I mean, you would expect it, to have more.
But then it would make a difference if at least when he was there, he was dominant. But I'm pretty sure his ERA is over 4. We saw him get hammered in Arizona last year.
Mm-hmm. I know. Oh my God, dude! It was like 3 innings too, 5 earned runs. Not great.
Yeah, that was crazy. What else we got here?
Buckta excited for March Madness around the corner. Yes, it is. Brian's excited.
Oh no, UConn's gonna repeat. I'm telling you. We already picked them for our bracket. Just let you know.
Let's go up. And then what else? Oh, Josh B says top 5 is a bold statement. Double B
regarding the Yankee offense. I don't really think it is because you think about the offense around the American League. You want to put Baltimore. And then I guess you would have to go Houston, right?
Right.
Texas.
You got to go Texas.
I don't think anybody from the Central.
No.
And else in the East. I don't really. I mean, right? And who else? Am I missing somebody?
Yeah, just in the AL. I mean, again,
in the AL, they're definitely top 5. I mean, they're with those 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Toronto above them. You're just really not sure. I mean, we've talked about Bo Bichette, but I mean, like Vladdy's been disappointing, and I mean, what else?
I mean, I think Judge and Soto outperforms that whole Toronto offense by themselves.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
And then when you think about National League, sure, Dodgers,
Braves.
If
you even want to throw the Diamondbacks in there, I mean,
it's close, yeah. But I mean, okay, you want to say definitively top 7 or 8 in the majors, but I think in the American League, by the time the season's over, really, have a chance to be the best one in the American League. But obviously, there's a bunch of ifs. Now, when it comes to their positional players, their lineup, who do you think is the biggest X factor? Like if they're on, that it'll take the offense to the new level.
I'm sorry for the
Yankees. Like what batter?
I mean, again, like obviously barring like what your expectations are from Soto and Judge, I think that if Stanton has a huge bounce back year offensively, I mean, that's when you're talking a whole new level. I think
you can't even navigate the lineup.
Like really, at that point, you can't navigate the lineup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you add Dominguez and Soto to that mix, and if Austin, I mean, it's just like
the
whole lineup could
too. Yeah, it could be the entire lineup. Yeah, it could be great hitters. Good.
Yeah. So definitely excited for baseball for sure. We'll keep an eye out as the teams are reporting, and maybe some of these free agents start to get picked up. We'll have to see. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle quick. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink wide. Made the full split save. Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pastrnak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So how about Tony hitting it on the head last night? The Igor shutout prediction, his first of the season.
Yes.
Rangers at home take care of business against Calgary here. 2-0. Igor 29 of 29 in net. And the big goal in this game that gave the Rangers the lead that, of course, they didn't relinquish, Will Coley in the second, his ninth. And then Jimmy Vesey right before the horn with an empty netter made it 2-0 Rangers as they win their fifth straight game. What were your thoughts on this one, Tony?
I thought this was honestly a really impressive win. And I know a lot of people are like still critiquing the Rangers, rightfully so. You know, look at this score and you think, oh, wow, it's, great for Igor, the shutout. That's awesome. But they're like, oh, only scoring 2 goals against Calgary. Like, what the hell? But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Jacob Markstrom was on his head the entire game. The Rangers had 29 shot attempts in the first period. I mean, their offense was absolutely buzzing. And yeah, they didn't find the back of the net, but still 23 shot attempts in one period. I mean, I feel like that's got to be a season high for the Rangers. They had so many great opportunities that were robbed by Markstrom. I mean, you had Blake Wheeler with an open net, Kreider right in front with no one on him. Vinny T had some great shots, like out from the top of the circle. Even Lafreniere, there were breakaway opportunities that even Keandre Miller had. Markstrom, this easily could have been like a 7-0 game, very easily. Markstrom was a great goaltender that was bailing the Flames out all game. So I won't look at it and be like, oh, like their offense still has to produce. I mean, I thought the offensive production was great. Their power play was a little bit of an issue, 0 for 3 on the power play. But again, like when you have a goaltender like Markstrom, who's just absolutely on his head, there's really not much you could do. I mean, you got to look at the highlight of the game. I mean, there's been some ridiculous saves by him. But still, I mean, I was very impressed with the production of the team. Seeing Will Cooley get his 9th of the season was great, off a great play by Capo Caco. And I think actually it was, I want to say, I forget what other player made a great defensive play that gave Caco the puck up the ice. But, Will Cooley just following the puck to the net, like you're taught, like very fundamental hockey. Puck is still kind of loose there, and he's able to jam it in. Made it the 1-0 game. VC with a tremendous effort. I know it was empty netter, but he like absolutely pickpocketed some guy in their own end of the ice and got the empty netter to make it 2-0. But I don't know, I thought this game was great. 31 shots on goal for the Rangers. Igor, you mentioned, saved 30 of 30 shot attempts against him. They out-hit Calgary. They dominated the face-off circle, almost 60%. I mentioned the power play could use some work right now, 0 for 3. But, I mean, hey, I don't know. I mean, the biggest concern for the Rangers, I feel like this season, was their 5-on-5 play, and they had tremendous opportunities in the 5-on-5 play. Block shots, 15 of them, 11 takeaways. From Calgary. Calgary had 0 takeaways. I mean, that's a significant stat right there. They were pickpocketing the Flames left and right, made it super hard for the Flames to gain any traction up the neutral zone. And I mean, Igor, I'm going to show you guys honestly some highlights from Igor last night. Absolutely,
best you've seen him all season?
Probably, I mean, easily best I've seen him all season. Possibly best I've seen him in the past 2 years, honestly. Kind of ridiculous. Right away, dude, early on in the first period, too, he's settling in. I know this is probably right after it, but you're going to sort of replay. Dude, on Kadri, too, a phenomenal glove, bro.
Yeah, no, he lets that go by last week.
No, literally, dude. And then on top of that, I mean, he was just such a barrage of shots, dude, that he was handling. I want to say right here, he's using his body like a tremendous form. Right here, stupid little turnover right here. Flames will get the puck in front of him, and I mean he poke checks that shit away. I don't think they show the replay here. But he literally uses his stick smartly, gets the body in front of the net, blocks that shot too, and just again a barrage of shots. He's just absolutely on top of it. Fast forwarding a little bit here to deeper into the third period. I think this is off the empty netter. Right before it. Oh no, this is the glove again. Getting his glove on pucks. I mean, I don't think you saw his glove this quick all season. I mean, that close. He gets down a little early because he was screened, and he gets enough of his glove on it. Full split, dude. I mean, I think I haven't seen him do that in so long. And then I want to show the empty netter. Oh, by the way, this is the Miller breakaway. I mean, again, Markstrom just absolutely on his shit all night. Let's see. I think this is it. Oh yeah, right here, dude. Unbelievable, barrage of saves that he takes. There's one shot here, bang, right there, blocks the blocker, keeps his body square and uses his shoulder to block his shot. And then right here is, I think, where we get the empty netter. Jimmy Vesey, dude, you're gonna see him pickpocket this loser. Bang, schlang, and right in, dude. So I mean, I think what you saw here from the Rangers was a tremendous effort all around from the team. Literally like from all your lines, from defensemen, you saw Miller. I showed that breakaway. I mean, Miller, being aggressive as a defenseman. Before that, I mean, I think you saw a lot of these individual efforts come from Igor's effort. I'm not going to lie here, because he had just such a tremendous effort last night. And I think what he was doing really well, what I really haven't seen Igor do, and this is just my theory, because I feel like we've talked about Igor in the past few years, and when he does greatly, like probably one of his biggest things that he does, I think better than any of the goaltenders, that he plays the puck very well after making a save. He'll keep the puck alive, push play down the ice away from him. But I think maybe because of that, he kind of got in his head in the sense of keep doing that, and he maybe lost focus on making saves. So I think what you saw a lot here tonight, which you haven't seen in a while, was Igor just kind of play a more patient, fundamental game. He was down on the butterfly a lot. He used that to his advantage to cover the lower part of the goal, and then he used his body a lot more. You saw a lot of saves bounce off his chest, his shoulder, his head even. So I think that's why you saw a lot more saves from him, a lot more poise. He kept his game very simple in net. And then on top of that, I mean, I saw a lot of great effort from the Rangers too to clear the puck out after his saves. I feel like more so than any other game this season. You saw a lot of bodies around him surrounding the puck, getting it out of Igor, as opposed to them relying on Igor to play the puck. They just let him play his game in terms of making the saves, and it obviously helped out a ton because he got his first shot of the season last night.
Yeah, and I think also you got to give credit to Laviolette. Seems like, timing wise, to give him the extended break and to have him return against Chicago and then home against Calgary. And obviously we know the Flames have been playing better recently, but it's just not a tough schedule to come back to. There's also a Thursday game at home against the Canadiens before the outdoor game at MetLife Stadium against the Islanders. Scheduling wise, how do you think they handle these next two?
In terms of just winning or losing, or goaltending wise?
Yeah, goalie.
I mean, hey man, you're not going to not start quick after a shutout. So
you mean you're not going to not start Igor?
Oh yeah, Igor. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
You're not going to start quick after a shutout that Igor just gave you. And you mentioned the next few games again. The next game is against the Canadiens. Obviously, I'm not overlooking any team here. But Thursday against the Canadiens, you have today and tomorrow off, and then there's another 2 days. Then you have Friday off, and then obviously Saturday's game. So, maybe Laviolette's plan, I would have imagined, was probably more towards like leaning to starting quick against Montreal. And then seeing maybe who starts against New York. But at this point, you got to let Igor start the next 2 games. There's no way. He was absolutely red hot last night. You got to let him keep going with that momentum. And you'd imagine too, against Montreal, you're going to probably face a good goaltender who's been hot recently in Montembeault too. So you want to put your best goaltender in there. Let's put Igor in there, dude. And let's put him in there against the Islanders too. Stadium series, like a big stage, not a phenomenal team here, very winnable game. I would be starting Igor the next 2 games for sure.
And then the thing is, if you do that, then you can use quick against Dallas.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good idea. I know you can't you can't baby Igor too much, but it would just be nice to, avoid the, 5-goal game as long as we can here.
Yeah. And like I said, if Igor plays like he did last night, using his body really well, and, some naysayers maybe out there like Michael Theophil, who says it's just 1 game against some bums, wait until they play a real team with real scorers.
I thought he was a Ranger fan now.
Yeah, I thought it was a Ranger fan now too. So he told me last night. I think he just likes to play devil's advocate. No pun intended there, dude. But listen, I think against any good team, I think Igor would have still had a shutout against that team with the way he was playing last night. So, and then Josh Beat says he also did try an empty netter. Igor did go for the empty netter last night. Wasn't able to do it. He almost gave up a goal, honestly, himself. And then Michael says Connecticut all the way, baby. Oh,
yeah, talking about
UConn, the back-to-back. But yeah, at this point, you're not like, oh, Igor is back. Like, it's just 1 game. It is. You got to be happy in the moment, excited that this is what he can be doing for you all season. So, let's obviously tread a little lightly Buckta hyped says, "Fuck yeah, Michael." But yeah, I mean,
this Brodeur would have scored.
that's what Michael says. That's what
Yeah.
Theophil said. Oh, Brodeur would have.
Brodeur.
I mean, you want to spell his name first, Michael. I mean, possibly he would have. I mean, I guess he does have that record, but I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's not about that. It's about, hoisting championships and being the best goaltender ever. He's not as selfish like Martin Brodeur, dude. All right.
And speaking of devil's advocate, just kind of thinking out loud here.
Mhm.
I mean, some concern though that only 2 goals. Your big guys aren't scoring. You were over 3 on the power play. I mean, any concern about that?
I would say more concerned about the power play at the end of the day. But concerned about the big guys. I mean, I don't think so. I mentioned, the Rangers, their last game, I feel like I think, Kreider and Zibanejad scored. Kreider had another assist too. He had 2 points in the game. And I feel like those games, what was it, over the weekend, I think.
Well, you had Mika with the game winner in OT against Chicago.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Mika against Chicago. On Monday, on Saturday, Friday, doesn't matter. Saturday, I think too. Yeah.
Or no, it was Friday, I think.
We don't know, dude. Nobody knows. Doesn't matter, dude. I'm not that.
It was definitely Friday
because I feel like, again, like you look at this game, they had tremendous opportunities, but I mean, Markstrom was just, he was on his game. I mean, he was making some crazy glove saves in and of itself. Crazy pad saves. I mean, like I said, it's easily could have been a 6-0, 7-0 game given those opportunities. But just Markstrom was that goaltender in between you and that type of game. So I don't know, I'm not too concerned there. And I mean, they still had great production. Like I said, I mean, I cannot stress enough, 29 shot attempts in the first period. Like that's so much offense, a lot coming from your first line too. Kreider had 3 shots on goal. Lafreniere did. Trocheck had 5 shots on goal. Wheeler had 5 shots on goal. I don't know. I'm not too worried about that in terms of production. And I do love to see when it's your bottom 6 players that are getting some gritty goals. So I'm not worried there at all. Power play unit has got to clean it up. If I was Lafreniere, I probably would mix up the power play unit a little bit. I mean, your bottom 6 players are scoring. Maybe throw them out on the ice. Start them. Start your second power play unit on a power play, and then have Kreider and Zibanejad sit for a little bit, whatever, and see what works. But other than that, I mean, no, I'm not worried because of the lack of offense here.
And have you heard of potential trade targets, before the trade deadline?
No, I mean, I haven't heard of anything else yet. Again, I mean, last I checked, whatchamacallit, they're looking for a left winger, is what they were shooting for, a left winger goal scorer in the bottom 6. So Michael Theophil, still a Devils fan, 3 Stanley Cups is super selfish, big concerns, he says. Yeah, it would be. I mean, the guy, obviously, Igor hasn't, his career's not over yet. He's gonna have a lengthy career, probably longer than Brodeur, probably better than Brodeur. And sooner or later, people are gonna forget Brodeur even if
that might be a little bit of a stretch, Tony.
Nah, dude. Listen, it's time that people said it. All right. I know Michael's thinking it, he's nervous about it. But it's time, passing of the torch. Nobody wants the Devils anymore, dude. They're losers.
But it is kind of just interesting how quickly perception changes. You think back to a couple of years ago, we're thinking that he could easily eclipse what Hank was able to do. And then of recent, I guess the last 2 years, how he's played, now you're really down on him. It is crazy to think that the pendulum could still swing back the other way where he is an all-time great. Because while he's been going through this stretch, I have to say, it feels like, and I'm part of it too, that a lot of people have ruled that out.
Yeah, I think so too. And at the end of the day, you look at his stats, and obviously they've been bolstered a little bit from a few good starts this season. This shutout being one of them. But because he has a great team around him, his record has been great. Like, he's gonna go down with a great record for a starting goaltender. And I think his save percentage now is above 900. His goals against, I think, is below 3. So you got to say, it takes a couple good games, when you're a great goaltender. Yeah, save percentage is 902, goals against is 2.78. But his record is top 6 in the league at 21, 12, and 1. So, that record does play a lot in terms of your stats and, your legacy. If you're looking back on his career, And all it takes is a good string of starts like the next upcoming few games. And his save percentage, goals against, I mean, those are going to bolster as well. So, those type of stats in tough stretches, I mean, every goaltender does it. Wah did it. Brodeur does it where they have off seasons or bad stretches. Every goaltender once in a while gets pulled. So, I mean, that shit happens. It's really about how you respond. And, like I've been saying, give Igor some time. He had a big response finally last night, and you expect him to kind of ride that momentum. And like you said, be back in the conversation as one of the top goaltenders the Rangers will ever see. So let's go.
I mean, hopefully that happens, and hopefully, there because of how well him and Quick are playing, that there is a controversy. Obviously,
Right.
good problem to have. If they're both playing lights out. I just, like I said, hope the offense can get going. Let's see a 5-goal game, a 6-goal game. I mean, obviously, Montreal. I know you said Montembeau's been playing better, but I think that's a team, if you're just thinking about their pure defense, that there is an opportunity for that. And then also the Islanders, at times we've seen them give up goals in bunches, and I know it's different being outside, but you would expect some type of uptick in offense the next 2 nights.
From the Rangers, you're saying, yeah, definitely. I mean, to what you're saying, the Islanders very beatable team. And the Canadiens, I mean, I'm not sure, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they do give up a lot of goals typically. So they just lost to St. Louis a couple nights ago, 7-2. So let's go, dude.
With the outdoor game historically, do the numbers say that the scoring is slightly down, or?
Yeah, actually, historically, I know for outdoor games it is. And I want to say, I mean, just in my experience in watching those games, a lot of it has to do with the I guess state of the ice. On in playing outdoors, you have like weather, the sun that melts the ice. Like sometimes like guys just aren't skating enough as fast. The puck doesn't move like it normally would, So we'll see. I think that kind of bodes a little bit better, honestly, for the Rangers, in my opinion. But I'm not sure what the forecast is. I think you mentioned it's going to be cold, I think, this weekend. I don't know about Sunday.
I'm trying to think if it was Saturday or not. I think it'll be relatively, probably at least in the 30s, if not colder.
Of course, ESPN doesn't give out the weather for hockey games.
I mean, I could just look real quick.
You look it up, Brian.
Also, any opinion there on the Devils 3-1 over the Kraken yesterday? Jack Hughes, goal and an assist.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've talked about them in length this season too. I mean, they have to stay healthy if they want to be competitive. Jack Hughes was out for a while. He's back. He's that type of player who can, change the course of a game. And I mean, again, I'm pretty sure that's who I picked yesterday. I mean, I definitely picked the Devils to win.
Yeah, I lost with the Kraken. You did better than me. I'll update you in a second on that. Okay, so oh no, the game is on Sunday. All right, so a high of 41, no chance of snow. So low of 26.
All right. Well, it's not.
So I would think when the game plays, it'll be mid to high 30s. But I mean, that's probably typical for these outdoor games.
I feel like that's what they want, honestly. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's even warmer than that, which bodes an issue. So I would expect some good, fast-paced hockey, is what I would think, MetLife. Dude.
Yeah, excited to watch that one. And back to this Devils game. They started Dawes in net. He had 27 saves, 964 save percentage, so he was pretty good. And Toffoli had a goal for the Devils as well. And it's interesting, Hughes has been in and out of the lineup. Obviously, they've struggled with goalie. Maybe Dawes, is somewhat of an answer for them. But I mean, I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that they have a strong second half of the season.
Yeah, no, it's not. Again, they've been plagued with injuries, and their goaltending has been great. Nico Dawes, geez, I think 22 years old, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, like German kid, like super young. We saw a little bit of him last season. So I mean, hey, if he's that highly touted, let me see. Okay, so he's 23 years old. Third round pick by Jersey in 2020. So, a couple of years here in the organization. I mean, you give him some time, maybe he'll develop, but they need a goaltender right now. I mean, it can't be like Vanacek had that one-off game, I think, against Colorado. earlier or later last week, whatever. I mean, you need someone who can consistently put together some good starts if the Devils want to be competitive. Again, they're a team who I look at that game and it's like they should have been scoring more, with their talent. So if they have a good goaltender, then yeah, they can be pretty solid. But
This possibly the story of the year. The Flyers pick up their 29th victory yesterday, 5-3 over Arizona at home. And their hottest player, what did we say? Konechny?
Konechny, yeah.
Konechny had his 25th yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And even in net, Earson wasn't great, 20 of 23, but that offense is going. And it just seems like every time you look up, Philly's winning a game. Right now they're only 1 point they're in the Rangers division. They're only 1 point behind Carolina for second.
Which is so crazy to think about. Never would have guessed that. But yeah, I mean, the Flyers have some good things cooking. They have Cam Atkinson on the team too. Couturier had an assist last night. And yeah, you mentioned Konechny. I mean, he had 2 assists as well. He had 3 points total yesterday, which is pretty crazy. And Ersson, who's been doing well in light of Carter Hart. I mean, he did enough to win that game last night. So that's exactly what the Flyers need to keep doing. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you would think Tortorella has to be a pretty big favorite for Coach of the Year at this point. Kind of crazy game between Minnesota and Vegas. We both figured Minnesota would lose this, but they win 5-3. And you look at this game. Gustafsson was 27-30 in net, and also they had Boldy, Matt Boldy scores 18th goal. He's one behind Connor Bedard for the league leader for rookie. So that's a guy that doesn't get talked about a lot. And he's had some impact on Minnesota winning recently. And, Vegas, had done pretty well, of recent. But I think, not having Eichel sets them back a little bit. Hill has been great this year, but he only had an .857 save percentage yesterday. Anything to look into this, or just kind of a off game for Vegas here?
Yeah, I guess kind of an off game, I guess. I mean, Minnesota just kind of outplayed them early on, winning faceoffs, retaining possession. Vegas ended up having 30 shots on goal, more so than Minnesota, but I don't know. I guess, Gustafsson was just on his game too. I mean, that's a goaltender we've been talking a little bit about too for Minnesota Wild. He's been great so far this season. So I think just off game. I mean, Knights, you'll get this game if it's a, playoff series, 7 games. I mean, the Knights are winning it hands down. So I wouldn't look too much into it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Matt Boldy on the Wild, you're saying?
Yeah.
He's a rookie this season?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. It's interesting. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So only the 4 games yesterday, but we do have a huge slate today. So that means it's time for a hockey frenzy.
Let's freaking go, people. It is Tuesday around the National Hockey League. We're starting early and often, 7 p.m. You know the deal. First game here, we are in the TD Garden as the Bruins are taking on the Lightning. The Lightning, as I mentioned repeatedly here, Kucherov, one of the best players in the league. The Lightning, though, struggling because of goaltending woes, injuries, veteran old players. The Bruins seemingly overcoming most of those issues as they are 32-11-9, 17-6-3 at home. They are minus 155 here at the TD Garden. Over under is set at 6.5. Brian, what do you got, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty easy one for me. And I know the Bruins, who was it they got shut out against? I don't know if it was the Panthers this past weekend. I think it might have been. But, from time to time, they have those games that are head scratchers. You don't understand it. But clearly, as they are the number 1 seed in the East right now, one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. And I look at Tampa, and despite, the success of Kucherov this year, just as a team, very up and down. You mentioned the goaltending. So hard to like him in this one. And I think, for Boston, they've done a good job defensively for the most part, whether it's Swayman, whether it's Ullmark. So I see them, winning this one handily. So give me the Bruins in the under. I'm going to say 4-1 Boston.
Absolutely love it. And Bruins just got shut out by Washington, by the way.
That's what it was. That was surprising. Yeah.
Pretty surprising there for sure. But you would think, a big bounce back game as that was their last loss. So I got to agree with the Bruins winning this game. You said you took the over?
Under.
The under. I would say, dude, give me the Bruins and the over. They win 4-3 in overtime.
Wow.
Dude.
Pasternak?
It's Pasternak with the goal. Yes, why not, dude? Next up, we have the Sabres. That's right. We're going to go to Buffalo, baby. They're going to be hosting the L.A. Kings. Looking at both teams here, the Kings 25, 15, and 10. The Sabres 22, 25, and 4. Yikes, dude. Let's look like over at 6.5. LA favored here on the money line at -135. Both teams, I guess, kind of Kings on back-to-back wins here, beating the Predators and shutting out the Oilers last game a mere 3 days ago. Of course, the Sabres are on a 2-game losing streak here, Brian. So who do you have?
Yeah, as mediocre as Buffalo's been this year, and the Kings have been a lot better than them, especially on the road here, 15-6-4. But I just have a feeling Buffalo in front of the home crowd here, they're not going to lose 3 straight home games. Tage Thompson's kind of been quiet this year. I could see him having a couple points tonight, let's say a goal and an assist. So I'm going to say Buffalo with the home upset here. I'm going to take the under as well. So let's say Sabres win 4-2.
Absolutely not, Brian. Give me the Kings here in the dub. I think this could kind of get ugly here for the Sabres. Potentially another shutout. Maybe the Kings on back-to-back shutouts. Why not? They win this game 4-0, Brian. Next game up. Yes, Kings and the under, dude. Next game, we are in Toronto now. Going up north, as they say. The Maple Leafs here taking on St. Louis Blues at Scotiabank Arena. Toronto heavy favorites at home at -200. Their point leader, William Nylander, at 65 points. 25 of those points coming from goals. Over-under set at 6.5. The Maple Leafs coming off of a tough, gritty, physical loss to the Senators. The Blues, of course, are on a little bit of a hot streak, winning 4 of the last 5 games here. What do you think, dude?
Yeah, this is interesting. And obviously that 5-3 loss to Ottawa, on Saturday was pretty disappointing for Toronto. They had won 3 out of their previous 4 games. And when I look at this, I know Toronto has actually been surprisingly mediocre at home, only 12-10. But I just think talent-wise, a lot better than St. Louis, who I think, given what they have to work with, has played pretty well this year. But I think, this one is probably tight early. Toronto, I could see pulling away late. Austin Matthews, you would expect him and Marner to be in the mix here. So I'm going to say we're going to see Toronto win this one 4-2. So Maple Leafs and the under.
Wow, dude. I'm going to go Oppo here with the Blues. Get with the team who's hot right now. Robert Thomas has been great. We know a lot of the former Rangers are on the team. And then, of course, Jordan Binnington is, bound to, I guess, have a great game, I suppose. But the other team who's been hot, winning 4 of the last 5, as I mentioned. 2 of those wins coming in overtime, too. So they've been going the distance. So give me the Blues winning this game. And then give me the over. I'll say it's in OT, and I'll say it's 4-3, dude. Pavel Buchnevich nets the overtime winner. Next game up, we are staying in Canada. We're going over to Montreal, though. A little bit of a, Western move from Toronto. The Canadiens are taking on the Anaheim Ducks tonight in the Bell Center. Montreal -120. The Ducks, of course, are actually even if you bet them in the money line. Over-under set at 6.5. High totals tonight. Expecting a lot of scoring here is Vegas. Both teams here kind of struggling as of late. Canadiens on a 2-game skid. The Ducks, of course, we know how bad they are, but they won 3 of their last 5 games. Just lost to Edmonton, though, the other night, 5-3. Brian, who do you have?
Yeah, you look at the records. Obviously, the Canadiens have had a better year here. But we've talked a lot about the veterans, on this Anaheim team, whether it's Terry, whether it's Vetrano. I think they have, what it takes offensively to win this one, and hopefully for their sake, Gibson gives them something in net. He's had, over 3 goals a game and 901 save percentage. But I think Frankie V, one of your all-time favorites, a big game here with 2 goals. And again, I'm going under, but give me Anaheim here, 3-2 at the Bell Center.
I do love the pick, dude. I would say the same. Ducks and the under. Frankie V, great. Troy Terry. And we know the third line center people are itching for. Me and Riley, that is, for Adam Henrique. Maybe that's a goal as well.
I was going to mention him. I was like getting confused if he was on the Sharks or not, but then I was like, oh yeah, he's on the Ducks. But there's nothing that Tony doesn't get excited for more than the third line center.
That's totally right. Let's go. Next game, still in the 7:00 time slot, by the way. We have a ton of games to get to still tonight. Still in Canada, by the way. Oh my goodness. Ottawa Senators taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ottawa at home, -190. So the Blue Jackets are obviously the road dogs here. Most of the points for the Senators coming from Stutzel, 47 points on the season, 11 of those coming from goals. So predominantly the assist setup, man. Over under at 6.5. Look at these two teams past 5 games. The Senators on a 3-game win streak, actually, beating the likes of which Toronto, Detroit, and Nashville. The Blue Jackets, trash this entire season, have dropped 3 of their last 5, Brian.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, when will Gaudreau get his head out of his ass? Only 7 goals this year. Who would have thought we've been saying that? Really has been struggling the last year plus. And this is one of those games you don't know what to make of because, the Senators really aren't any good, but record-wise, they're a decent amount better than Columbus. But I just feel like this year, every time I look up, there's a game and Columbus is playing and like, oh yeah, they're going to get killed and they end up winning. So I'm going to just go with that theory here. And I'm going to say Gaudreau does get his head out of his ass. How about 2 goals and an assist, a Josh B special. And I'm going to say the Blue Jackets are going to win this one 5-4. So Blue Jackets in the over.
Such a tough game to choose here. So you said Blue Jackets in the over?
Yeah.
Let me go Senators. I'll go Senators, definitely. Stutzel's been great. I mentioned Kachuk has been a little hot, 22 goals in the season right now. I know it sucks Forsberg in the long-term IL, but I don't care. Give me the Senators. Give me the over. I think Korpisalo in between net, will make the saves when it counts. And the Blue Jackets, as many times as I wanted to pick them, Justin Danforth, they've never come up big for me. Maybe I'm betting emotionally, but give me the Senators and the over. Like I said, next game, still 7:00. Brian, we're going to the nation's capital as the Capitals are taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon absolutely killing it this season. 85 points so far. Ridiculous. Washington, of course, the home dogs at 150. Over under again, 6.5 here. The Capitals winning 1 game of their last 5. We know it as the Bruins shutout game. But the Avalanche here on the 4-game losing skid just got shut out by the Panthers 3 nights ago. Pretty crazy that their offense has been just so lacking given their talent pool of players. But what do you think here, Brian? This is a tough one.
Yeah, I think a couple streaks come to an end tonight. I think Ovechkin scored in 4 or 5 straight games, and obviously the Avalanche have lost 4 games. But I would say hands down, lock of the night, Avalanche are winning this game. I know Washington, the big win over the Bruins last time out, but I think we're going to see a lot of frustration by Colorado in this 4-game losing streak taken out on the ice tonight. I think they're going to put up 6, and they're going to beat Washington 6-3. So Avalanche and the over.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Give me Avs in the over. You talked about Gaudreau having a lack of I guess numbers this season. Ovechkin only 13 goals so far, only 36 points. He's been so quiet. I know, kind of heating up a little bit, but regardless, I mean, there's no way the Caps pull this one out here. Give me the Avs on the angry bounce back, emotional. Avs in the over. Get ugly. I don't know, 6-2 maybe, something like that. Crazy. Next game up. Moving on now a little bit later, 7:30 p.m. We're going to be at Brian's favorite arena in Elmont, New York. That is. Should we go? Tickets as low as $6 as the Islanders are taking on the Kraken. Of course, the Islanders we know are going to be favored here, -155. The over-under for the first time tonight is at 5.5. The Islanders winning 2 of their last 5. The Kraken only 1 of their last 5. As Michael gives me the call from donating, they're open today, even during the snowstorm. Thank you, Martin Brodeur. Michael should have been named Martin. Did you guys know that? Almost, but then his mom realized Martin Brodeur is a loser and went with Michael after Michael Jordan. But Brian, what do you think here for the Islanders tonight?
Yeah, this is tough because, a lot of times when I'm picking a winner, I definitely take it into, and I know everything is on an individual game basis, but I do take into effect, how they've been playing recently. You look at the Kraken, they've lost 3 games in a row. Are they really going to lose another one? The Islanders, they lost last time out, but they had won their previous 2 games. So it's just kind of a tough thing here, but I just think overall, the Islanders are the better team. So I'm going to just take the chance that they play up to their ability. And I think as time goes on, the players are going to get more comfortable in Patrick Waugh's system. So I think this is going to go under. We're going to get a Sorokin vintage performance here, Kraken on the back-to-back. And we're going to see the Isles with the win here, 3-1. Cal Clutterbuck with a goal and an assist.
I do agree with you there, Brian. I think Kraken have scored only 3 goals in their past 3 games. That's absolutely terrible in terms of offense, clearly. I know they probably have a little bit of an advantage in terms of goaltending. But like I said, I'm going to rely on the Islanders to play some vintage hockey here. Give me the Islanders and the under just like you. Noah Dobson with a slapper from the blue line. Islanders win this one 2-1. Next game up, we're getting a little later here, 8 p.m. Michael came just in time for the Devils to be in Nashville as they're taking on the Preds. Nashville here, of course, are the favorites, but tight at only -130. So, hey, Jersey on the road plus money. I'll take it when I can get it. Over-under is back to 6.5 for us here tonight. Both teams struggling in their last 5 games, only winning 2 of 5 for both of these teams here. But, of course, the Devils, we've seen Jack Hughes maybe on the bounce back, maybe some good goaltending. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, obviously this has always been my Achilles heel, the games with the Predators, seemingly always picking the wrong side. But, looking at this, I just like Nashville. I think it's a quick turnaround for the Devils, having a home game last night in New Jersey, getting down to Nashville, playing on a back-to-back, a rested Predators team. Philip Forsberg has led the way in points and goals for Nashville this year. Saros has been spotty, but I think he has a good game here, and I think Nashville takes advantage of a weak Jersey defense, winning this one 5-2. So give me Nashville and the over.
Absolutely love it, and I know whatchamacallit. Vanacek is on day-to-day, so you never know. You could see a Schmidt start here tonight for the Devils. But I guess time will tell. But I'm going to go Devils here tonight, Brian. I just think Jack Hughes, the offense has been hot. I don't know. I can see them kind of scoring a few goals here against the Predators. And you never know, Schmidt coming in here, trying to prove himself again. Maybe with a tremendous bout in between the pipes. So give me the Devils. Did you take the over/under, Brian?
I took the over.
Yeah, I think give me the Devils in the under. Why not? I'm a betting man here. Jack Hughes, hat trick. Schmid getting up only
just for Josh B.
Just for Josh B. Schmid, maybe 29 of 30. They win 4-1, dude. Next game up, let's go. Dallas, baby. Another one of Brian's favorite teams, the Stars, taking on the Hurricanes in Dallas. Dallas, of course, are they going to be the home favorites? -120. Hurricanes is even on the money line there. Over/under back to 6.5. Of course, you look at both of these teams, both winning 4 of their last 5, being very impressive. This is probably going to be a matchup of the night here. Tough choice between 2 great teams here. Brian, what do you got?
Yeah, looking at this, Hurricanes have been red hot, winners of 4 out of 5, and the Stars have also won 4 out of 5 games as well. Both teams, with a 2 days off of rest here. So when I look at this, I want to say the Hurricanes, but I think because the teams are so evenly matched, I'm going to go with the Stars at home. So I'm going to say this one is going to be high scoring, but we're going to see Dallas in overtime, 5-4.
Wow, so Dallas and the over. This is a great game here. I do like Dallas a lot more. So tough, dude. Their offense has been, yeah, give me Dallas. I feel like Carolina, I mean, the last couple of games, they won 2. Colorado, they've been bad. New Jersey was a 1-0 win in overtime, too. Dallas has been scoring more. Give me Dallas. I'll take the under, though, because I would imagine good goaltending matchups here. Wow, Michael. As he's showing me the snacks here for the snow day. Brian's jealous. Not really. He's got chicken parm at home. So give me the Dallas Stars and the under. They win 2-0. Next game up, Brian. We're almost done here. We're going to Chicago here as the Canucks are taking on the Blackhawks at home. Chicago, heavy home dogs here. Plus 220. Kind of crazy. Interested to see where Brian goes with this one. Over under at 5.5. Brian, what do you got?
5-0 Canucks, easiest pick of the night. Chicago reeling without Connor Bedard.
Yeah, totally agree. I would say 4-1, 5-0. Vancouver and the under. Final game of the night. Brian's favorite team in Edmonton as the Oilers are going to be taking on the Red Wings. This could be a good game here. Edmonton minus 230. So Detroit plus money on the road could sneak in the upset. Look at both of these teams over under 6.5. Both have won 3 of their last 5 games. As I mentioned before, the Oilers just lost the game to the Kings 4-0. Brian, does that scare you?
No, I'm going to say the Oilers are going to win this one 4-2. We're going to see Draisaitl with a goal and an assist, Connor McDavid with a goal and assist as well, and Stuart Skinner has done a great job in net all season, 35-37 here. So the Oilers and the under.
You farted, Michael? Michael farted in the studio. Oilers and the under. He's waving it at me now. It smells really bad, Brian. Jesus, dude.
I'm missing that one.
Oh, my God. Oh, gosh, dude. So Oilers and the under, you say. I say Red Wings. Definitely Red Wings. Over, under at 6.5. I would go under as well. So give me Red Wings and the under. Did you say under or over? I'm confused.
I said the under.
You said the under, yeah. So give me Red Wings and the under. Lions has been great. We know Skinner's been great as of late. Red Wings will obviously just score. McDavid, I don't know, man. That 4-0 loss to LA could hurt them a little bit. So give me the Red Wings with Dylan Larkin. 2 goals and an assist for the captain. McDavid off the score sheet for the night. And there you have it right there, dude.
What a night of hockey. What a night to be snowed in.
Oh, my God, yeah. Really, dude, we can watch games all freaking night. You can have all 4 of your TVs in your basement, all hockey tonight, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely jacked up about that. We do have a bunch of comments that came in.
Yeah, we have so many comments here. Let's see what we got. But Michael's right here in front of me, so I'll start with Michael Buckta, by the way. Buckta says, Michael T is my home dog. He's the true definition of a homie, he says. And let's move back a little bit here. We have a lot of UConn talk here. Michael Buckta in regards to UConn. No one's beating us. UConn taking number 6 national championship back to Tampa this April. And then he says, UConn women going to do it too, especially in Paige's senior year. South Carolina can suck my ass, he says. Then he says, F South Carolina. Matthew Gabriel in the house says, UConn. No doubt, Michael B and Michael T, dude. And then Buckta says, Gino is the GOAT. That is our coach, baby. As I mentioned before, Josh B, hype for the Chell Frenzy. Buckta's up here with an actual question. Love it here. What are your thoughts on Joe Musgrove, Brian?
I'm guessing he means just overall ability. I wasn't sure if there was some story that came out or anything.
Let's see. I don't think so. Joe Musgrove right now. I don't see anything coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought he was a pretty good pitcher. I'm just curious. I didn't look up. I think he was okay last year. But obviously, he's with the Padres, came up with Houston, and it's been
3.05 ERA.
Yeah. So no. I mean, he's a good pitcher. I mean, if you think about the Padres rotation, I mean, he's probably their ace. I mean, I know they still have Darvish, but he's getting up there.
I mean, he's got to stay healthy. Only 97 innings pitched last season.
Previous 2, he pitched 181 innings. So, I mean, he's relatively been healthy. But yeah, I think he's still one of the better pitchers in baseball. He's only, 31 years old, and they're signed through 2027.
Love it there, Michael. And Josh B laughing about the hat trick. And then Matthew Gabriel says, big breaking news, dude. The Y is closed. How are you, dude?
I had a feeling about that one.
Oh, that's so funny. I can't believe that it's still snowing out there. Crazy talk, man.
Did you bring your pajamas for the studio, Tony?
Not really. I mean,
If you have to walk back, you have to walk back.
yeah, that's fine. I'll walk. Hey, listen, the Charger can get through it all. All right, dude.
Yeah. Well, also, I think the snow is supposed to be over by like 1:00. I thought.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've really been paying attention to the
Yeah.
broadcast there in terms of the weather. But yeah, I'm not that worried about it, dude. I got my snow boots.
Did you see the Knicks get hosed last night?
I did see the Knicks get hosed last night. Complaints about the call last minute. That led the Rockets to those couple of free throws that kind of won them the game there. People saying that shouldn't have been a call at all. I don't know.
The NBA announced that it shouldn't have been a call.
Well, did they really?
Yeah, I think that's brutal to
Do you think the refs had some money on the game?
No, but it's just like I don't know. It just feels like at this point, there should be stuff like in place where you could just overturn that real quick and like, you know what I mean? I don't know why there's such a struggle to get to that point.
And the Knicks used their one challenge right prior to that, which was also a pretty bad call too, right? So they didn't have any more challenges left or something like that or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the reffing's got to be better.
I feel that's been a case in the NBA for years now, though. I mean,
yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, what is it? Do you think do you think it's just that some refs like interpret the rules differently, or do you think it's just the fast pace of the game and like sometimes refs just miss things or think they see something?
Yeah, and I think sometimes like they're zoning out, and it's like they miss. And there's makeup calls, like there's all this bullshit.
Oh yeah, the makeup calls are so bogus, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. Yeah, the refs, hitting the pen before the game.
You really never know. That's for sure. Oh, you know what's interesting too? I saw this. They were talking about it on Get Up before we started here. I guess it's Friday. The Seahawks have to make a decision on Geno Smith. That they can get out of the contract if they don't like commit to some money. And it's like he basically, Adam Schefter was basically alluding to the fact that he thinks they're actually going to let him go. Do you think that would be a mistake?
I do think that would be a mistake.
You look at, they have the 16th pick, so really to get one of the better quarterbacks in the draft, they would have to move up unless they're comfortable taking like a JJ McCarthy and Michael Penix at the end or middle of the first round. But you would think too, you'd want the best of both worlds, and to have Geno as a starter. This way you don't have to rush somebody into the mix that's not ready.
Yeah, I mean I totally agree. I would be sticking with Geno for sure, which is kind of crazy. I'd never think I would say that.
And then it was funny, just similar conversations to what we've had. They were talking, I guess the Steelers are really high on Justin Fields.
Dude, I love that. I mean, you know how I feel about Justin Fields. I think that would be a great get for the Steelers for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And, pretty much like the Bears are locked in on Williams with the number 1 pick. I guess they just said they would take a historic package for the pick, but I can't see. I think it's pretty much a lock that Fields is going to get moved. And if it wasn't Pittsburgh, I would think it would be the Falcons. But which situation do you think is better for his career?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like for his entire career, I would say the Steelers.
Just because of the coach aspect of it?
Coaching, they're always competitive. And I mean, that's really mainly why. Always a good defense too. Like I feel like the Falcons could be kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, and Raheem Morris. I mean, he was a coach once with the Bucks. Didn't work out. I know a lot of good things have been said about what he did with the Rams defense the last couple of years. But with the way that offense has struggled and not had a quarterback, I don't know. It would be, if it was up to me, I would definitely wouldn't have went with a defensive head coach there.
For Atlanta, I know. So odd.
But I mean, obviously, if he's going to instill the defense, and it's just going to be interesting what they do at quarterback. And, if Geno Smith comes available, that's an option for them. Russell Wilson as well. But it's just going to be so interesting. I mean, there's so many moving pieces on the quarterback carousel this offseason.
At the end of the day, who do you think lands in Pittsburgh?
At Pittsburgh, I think, that I think about it more because originally I was saying Fields, would go to Atlanta, but I think that is the spot for Pittsburgh. And, I've talked about how Russ was also somebody, but I just think with Tomlin's personality, I think he just doesn't want to have to deal with the whole thing with Russ. And I think he'll look at Justin Fields as a player that wants to improve, came from losing in Chicago, and that he would really show him the ultimate sign of respect, being that, he's never had a losing season in his entire coaching career.
And he's younger. I mean, like I feel like Fields would be better for your future as the team bringing him in. But then what do you think? Do you think Russ ends up with the Falcons or?
Kind of, yeah, I could see that just because, quarterback's been such a struggle for them, even going on the last couple of years of Matt Ryan when his play started going downhill. And we saw how much Ritter struggled last year in Heineke. So, I mean, I would think, you put Russell Wilson there, especially the fact, too, you hope that, I don't know, just maybe he'd be a little humbled now and could lead, with, a first-year head coach in Atlanta anyway. I know he coached with the Bucs before, kind of from a leadership position and really get the best out of, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, BJ Robinson. I mean, could you see that situation working out with Russ in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, again, like I think I think Atlanta has good offensive pieces that Russ can definitely utilize. So yeah, I mean, I think that Russ will do well there. But I mean, I guess it depends on too what he wants. Any chance you think Russ kind of gets kind of specific with where he wants to go and come the start of the season he's not on a team? No. You think whatever offer he'll get offered, he's taking it
because he knows, he's burned some bridges, and I don't know. This thing in Denver seems more like it was on Sean Payton, but then again, when he got there, was he too? Kind of full of himself and not looking to lead. We heard the report about his birthday party. So I think he's really looking to, recover his reputation. And I would think he would see Atlanta as a possibility just because you think about, like I said, especially since they lost that Super Bowl, they've struggled. They haven't made the playoffs. There's a lot of young players on that team. So as much as we look at Russell Wilson as a joke, I mean, he has been to 2 Super Bowls. So you would think from the players, at least from the onset, there would be some level of respect there and just wanting to win,
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree there.
One interesting one is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I would think he's going to have to either settle for a backup from the start or go to a team that's drafting in the top of the draft and maybe even be the starter for the first couple of weeks of the season before relinquishing the position. But after getting benched with the Raiders, not really playing well, hard to think he's really going to get a starting opportunity.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Giants backup?
I would like to see him as the Jets backup. Because then you would really feel like, okay, I mean,
yeah, that's actually interesting. I mean, do you think at the end of the day it's Rodgers, Wilson?
No. Wilson is not going to play for the Jets again.
Definitely not.
No. Probably they're going to get a 6th or 7th round pick for him. But yeah, a lot of free agency moves on the horizon for sure. You got the draft end of April. So we'll have to get the draft music soundbite up and running again.
Oh, it's ready to go, dude.
Dude, what a time in April. You start with the Masters second week in April, and then you end out the month with the NFL drafts. Can't beat it. And then baseball, that's the first full month of the season too, which is pretty cool.
Can't wait for our games to go, dude.
Oh my God, I know. That's going to be here before we know it. Obviously, the vlogs are going to be legendary.
Oh yeah, dude. Forget about it.
And then Matthew also saying the Jets, man, so bad. But big day tomorrow, pitchers and catchers for the Yankees. And like I mentioned earlier, the Mets getting underway today.
You know what they say, dude. METS, Mets.
I feel like this is, though, like going into a year, though, this is the most down you've been on the Mets in a while.
In a pretty long time. That's correct, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are the type of years where they come out of nowhere. You never
Yeah,
know.
I mean, who knows? We could be sitting here July, and I'm in a Severino jersey, dude. Okay,
That would be insane.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I wouldn't resent it at all. It's just we had to get rid of Louis, and I think he was always a good teammate. It's not like he was getting into trouble off the field like Domingo Herman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he was a good teammate. He gave it his all. He just at the end of the day couldn't do it.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities. So we'll have to see what happens with that. What do we got coming up on Screen Time?
That's right, dude.
Binge Buddies.
No worries, dude. True Detective been still watching that, dude. Episode 5 here. I watched last night, so this is the last 2 episodes of the season. Okay. We're talking that. We're talking Super Bowl commercials, Brian. I know you were watching a lot of the commercials.
So we know you're going to be talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, literally, dude. I thought the commercials were so bad this season.
Oh, yeah, it was brutal.
Stupid, dude. At least sometimes there's like a funny one, or like even like they hit you first with a Budweiser. It's like kind of cool, but no, dude. I feel like the commercials really sucked. So we're talking about that, and then Michael has some hot button news as well. So we got a good episode coming up for sure, dude.
So it's going to be you and Michael?
Michael and I, that's right.
There you go. And a noon teen start?
Yeah, noon teen. Give us about 30 minutes to reset. So, feeling pretty good about it, dude.
Wait, is Michael right there?
No, he just he went down.
I wanted to know if he had any thoughts on Wemby's triple-double. Did you see that 10 blocks, Tony?
I did see that, dude. That's pretty gnarly.
I mean, 10 blocks? I feel like that's, insane.
If we catch him up on the way up again, maybe I'll get his attention, but I don't know, man.
You think the first thing he's going to say is Bobo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bobo would have had 20 blocks.
And I guess Matthew's going to be in studio for Binge Buddies.
I probably will be in studio, dude. Let's go. That's awesome. That is huge. He says, feeling good.
But that's good stuff. Definitely lock into that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, tomorrow we're going to do our preview of the Genesis Invitational. So elevated event, obviously Tiger the host and returning for the first time since his tournament back in November. So it'd be interesting to see how Tiger plays as he looks to win for the first time in his career at Riviera, one of the more iconic courses, on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, that's awesome. A couple comments, by the way, on the way out from Corey, actually, on Instagram. He mentioned Sorokin tonight shutout. And then he says Penix is going to Seattle since they hired Grubb as a new OC.
That's true. Yeah, he was the OC for University of Washington.
Right, with Penix. So
yeah. Wow, that's some good insight by Corey there.
There we go, dude.
What do you think about the Sorokin shutout?
Sorokin shutout tonight. I mean,
Seattle, though, you mentioned how they've been struggling offensively.
Yeah, they have been. So I could see it. If any game, it would be this game. So, and I mean, Corey knows Islanders. So
yeah.
Can't knock that, dude.
But yeah, definitely pumped for some hockey tonight. Talk about the golf tomorrow.
Hell yeah,
dude. As spring training rolls out too, I'm sure there'll be some storylines there. But once again, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume. Merch, downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Binge Buddies, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do.